I hereby call this meeting to order and welcome T.W. Shannon. Yeah, excellent timing. Former Commissioner Kent Farrow, thank you, and former Secretary Mike Patterson. And we're expecting an immediate arrival of Bobby Stem here shortly. And then Paul Zachary is here from the city of Tulsa. Hello, Paul. Your assigned seat back there, I see. Yes, very good. Commission Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn?
Coburn here.
Mr. Studeville?
Studeville here.
Mr. Shannon?
Here.
Mr. Freimiller?
Here.
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson here.
Mr. Alexander?
Alexander here.
Mr. LaForge?
LaForge here.
Mr. Junk?
Here.
Mr. Peterson?
Here. Director Gatz, you're recognized to present.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, to start off this morning, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd like to observe a moment of silence in honor of former Secretary and Director Neil McCaleb. McCaleb was the first to be the director at both the Department of Transportation and the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority while serving as a cabinet secretary. He was a distinguished civil engineer, strong leader, and a visionary who was instrumental in shaping Oklahoma's highways, interstates, and turnpikes. He left an impression on us all and will be fondly remembered. And Neil passed away on January 7th, shortly after the last commission meeting. There are a few of us old-timers that are around that had the great honor and privilege to serve with Secretary McCaleb. And he's the one that I would tell you taught us all how to do it. Not just a great man, great mentor, and a great leader for the state of Oklahoma. So with your permission, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, if I might, recognize Chief Engineer Brian Taylor to come up and carry us into the Pharaoh Award presentation. So, Chief Taylor.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I have the honor today to talk a little bit about the Pharaoh Award. The Pharaoh Award is given to the best of the best, and that's among the bridges. It is awarded by the AOGC to a contractor. This year, we're looking at the State Highway 66 Bridgeport Bridge. It's iconic for many reasons, but it was judged the best of the best amongst the group. It's iconic for the Grapes of Wrath. Grandpa's supposed to be buried on the west side. It was also featured in the movie The Cartoon Cars. What is special about the Pharaoh Award is the family that it's named after. And we have Mr. Kent Farrow here today. His grandfather was one of 4 90 years ago that started the AOGC, that this award is named after. And I would like Mr. Farrow to come to the podium to award this Farrow Award to the best of the best. Mr. Farrow.
Thank you very much, Brian, for that introduction. And before I get into that, allow me a personal note, Mr. Chairman. I knew Neil McCaleb and his wife, Georgiana, very well over the years, worked with him on a number of occasions. And I'm saddened to hear of his passing. I had not. On a lighter note, when Neil was young and healthy, and he ran for lieutenant governor, I asked him years later, I said, Neil, whatever inspired you to run for the office of lieutenant governor? He said, Ken, a few of my closest friends approached me and told me they thought I would run a good campaign and they would support me. And I just felt this groundswell of support. Obviously, he didn't get the election, but anyway, it always stuck with me that he just felt that groundswell of support for that office. It is indeed a pleasure to stand before this commission today to present the 29th Annual Pharaoh Bridge Award. And it's going to be presented to the Yukon Residency and Transportation Division 4, Commissioner Freimiller, your district. I know you're very proud of that bridge, and you were there when they dedicated it, or rededicated it back last May, driving your vintage pickup. Is that right? Yes, sir. Well, the Farrell family, as mentioned, I'm a third-generation highway contractor, retired now. But my grandfather was a pioneer road builder in the state. My dad followed him, building many bridges on the interstate highway system, and I followed that. And my grandfather, as mentioned, was one of the original charter members of the Associated General Contractors. My dad served as president of the Contractors Association in 1956 and 57, and I was honored to be elected to serve president of the association in 1976. It was with that legacy that we want to do something to recognize the contractors that give not only their best, but rise above their best to present to the state of Oklahoma and to the federal government the quality of work that they're producing. And we're going to recognize today the Yukon residency. I had a privilege back in December of standing before the annual awards banquet of the AOGC in Oklahoma City and present this award to the contractor that built the best bridge, adjudged by ODOT the previous year. And that bridge was built by OBC Incorporated, headquartered out of Edmond. I don't know whether we have any of their contractors and management in attendance today, but if we do, I'd like for them to stand and be recognized. And they were very deserving of that award because they met all the criteria necessary that ODOT sets out for that bridge to be judged the very best quality. Now, I would like to invite Marcus Dixon forward to receive the award on behalf of the Yukon residency, please.
Margaret doesn't know what the hell to do. You gotta hide behind cats. What year is your pickup truck? 56. Ford? Item 14 is approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on January 6, 2025. Do I have a motion for approval of item 14?
Motion, Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you. A consent docket contains item 15. If any commissioner would like to pull that item out for discussion, he may do so at this time. Otherwise, I'll hear a motion for approval of the consent docket.
Alexander makes a motion.
Okay, thank you. And a second?
Second, Kilburn.
Thank you. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 16 is a programming item. Mr. Hernandez, you are recognized to present.
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Item 16, I have two parts. Part A, and these are both repair bridge impact damage, bridge repair. Part A, the department requests approval to program a project to repair bridge impact damage to the I-40 frontage road bridge over Timber Creek. This is in District 5, Beckham County. Estimated cost of the repair is $250,000 using state aid funds. The project will be ready for the May 2025 letting, and the party responsible for the damage is known. And Part B is to repair fire damage. This is in District 8, Tulsa County. The department requests approval to program a project to repair fire damage due to a homeless encampment under the bridge carrying the I-44 ramp over Mingo Creek to East 21st Street. Estimated cost of this project is $330,000 using state aid funds. And the project will be ready for the May 2025 letting, and the party responsible for the damage is unknown. Approval of these items is recommended, and I'll answer any questions you might have.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 16?
LaForge, move for approval.
Thank you. And a second?
Freimiller, seconds.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Mr. Hernandez, you're recognized to continue to item 17, excuse me.
Okay. Item 17 is in District 2, Marshall and Bryan counties. Location is US 70 over Lake Texoma, the Roosevelt Bridge at the Marshall and Bryan County line. The intent of the project is to replace the bridge on offset alignment, and the department has contracted with H&TB Corporation to serve as the owner's representative. A little description on what this service is. As we prepare to utilize progressive design build to rapidly deliver US 70 bridge project over Lake Texoma, specifications and requirements must be written to uniquely for this project to allow for maximum innovation by a design build team. In order to accomplish this project using this process, which is new to the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, ODOT will hire an owner's representative. The owner's representative will serve as an extension of the department's staff, facilitating, drafting, and translating the requirements, specifications, and contractual needs for this project so all the proposals submitted by the design build teams are of the highest quality and provide solutions tailored to the particular needs of this project. Additionally, the owner's representative will assist in developing the scope, design build team qualifications, identifying special design specifications and cost estimates, as well as providing risk management and construction support. The construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan, and we're anticipating to procure the design build services by the end of 2025. And like I said, this owner's representative is going to help us move towards procuring those design services, design build services, and assist us along the way. And I'll try to answer any questions you might have on that. We recommend approval.
How did you select HNTB?
We selected them based upon their qualifications they submitted. It's the normal procurement process for us for obtaining engineering services.
Very good. Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 17?
Motion, Studeville.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 18 is engineering contracts. Mr. Hernandez, you're recognized to continue.
Okay. Part A is statewide, on-demand community engagement. The department has selected 5 firms to provide these services. They are Friesen Nichols, Garver, H&TB Corporation, Stantec Consulting Services, and Whitehawk Engineering and Design. Part B is also statewide, on-demand state bridge rehabilitation. The department has selected 7 firms to provide these contract services. They are Aguirre and Fields, Half Associates, MacArthur Associated Consultants, MKEC Engineering, Poe and Associates, Walter P. Moore and Associates, and WSB. Part C is on-demand engineering services for Americans with Disabilities Act improvements statewide. Department has selected 6 firms to provide these services. They're Atkins Realis, Cowan Group Engineering, Half Associates, Hudson Prince Engineering and Inspection, Kimley Horn and Associates, and Park Hill Smith and Cooper. Part D is also statewide on-demand on-system bridge inspection services, and the department has selected 6 firms to provide these services. They are Burgess & Nyepel, CEC Corporation, Consor Engineers, Garver LLC, Guy Engineering Services, and Stringteg Corporation. And Part E is project specific. It's in District 4, Canadian County, located at I-40 from the Caddo County line to Radio Road in Canadian County. The project intent is to add capacity to roadway and intersection modification. And the department has selected CP&Y Incorporated to provide preliminary engineering studies. Their contract value is not to exceed $2,212,515. And the right-of-way phase for this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2031. Part F is in District 7, Caddo County. This is for US 281 over Wildcat and Flat Draw and US 281 over Medicine Creeks. Wildcat and Flat Draw are creeks, sorry. So 3 bridge projects and 3 bridge replacements and 2 projects. The department has selected Grossman and Keith Engineering Company to provide these services for plan specifications and estimate. Their contract value is not to exceed $1,238,236. And these projects are included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let dates in federal fiscal year 2031 and 2032. And finally, Part G, this is in District 8, Tulsa County. This is State Highway 51, excuse me, from 61st Street to the junction of State Highway 351. The intent is to reconstruct, rehabilitate existing facility and safety improvements. The department has selected Garver LLC to provide preliminary engineering studies, and their contract value is not to exceed $1,903,710. The right-of-way phase for this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2031. And we recommend approval on the engineering contracts. I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved, LaForge.
Thank you of item 18. And a second?
Freimiller, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Item 19 is change orders with cumulative total of $150,000 or less. This is for your information only. Mr. Leonard, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'd like to present items number 19, parts A through W. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $150,000 or less. This item is presented for your information only, and no action is necessary, but I'd certainly be glad to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you. If there are no questions, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to present item 20, change orders with cumulative total more than more than $150,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
Yeah. Conversations would be short this morning.
Yes, sir, Mr. Commissioner. Item 20, parts A through P. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than $150,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 20?
Motion approved, John.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Commissioner Shannon, thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Leonard. Item 21 is Municipal Road Drilling Activity Fund. Mr. Mitchell, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. The Municipal Road Drilling Activity Fund, Title 11, Section 37-501, assists municipalities with populations less than 15,000 that have experienced roadway damage due to increased oil field activities. After reviewing requests for participation and funding, the department recommends awarding municipal road drilling activity funds totaling $5,470,000. The award will assist 11 cities in repairing or replacing 16.96 miles of municipal roadways. Approval is recommended. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 21?
Motion, Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second. Let's do the bill.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Item 21 is damages to state property settlement. Ms. Williams, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission.
morning.
Item 22, actually.
22.
Yes. It is damages to state property settlement, District 4, Oklahoma County. On March 20th, 2024, a motorist was driving eastbound in the center lane of East I-40 in Oklahoma City. The motorist struck a vehicle in the rear, causing both vehicles to collide with a cable barrier owned by ODOT. The damage to repair the cable barrier is $5,481. As a result of the motorist having only the minimum required insurance coverage, the insurance payment is prorated between the damage to the truck and ODOT. The share proposed to be remitted to ODOT is $4,828.39. This requires a write-off of $652.61. The Office of General Counsel has no objection to accepting this settlement offer. It would not be cost-effective to pursue litigation, and approval is recommended. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 22?
Frymiller approved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Colbert.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 23 is proposed bid openings. Ms. Bryant, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners.
Good morning.
Item 23, proposed bid openings, consist of the final March 2025, the tentative April 2025, and the tentative May 2025 bid openings. I can't emphasize enough that this is a tentative list, and we are still under a continuing resolution through March 14th, 2025. The department recommends approval.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 23?
So moved, Colbert.
Thank you. In a second?
Second, Alexander.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 23 is awards. Mr. Goka, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item 24 is the awards for the January bid openings. It will be in two parts. For the January 9th regular bid opening, it is recommended that the following items from the January 9th 2025 bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. 100, 105, 115, 120, 127, 130, 135, 140, 150, 160, 170, 175, 180, 185, 190, 210, 215, 225, 240, 255, and 270. Part B is for the January 16th regular bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the January 16th 2025 bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. 110, 155, 167, 195, 200, 205, 206, 220, 230, 245, 250, 265, and 282 in the base bid and the alternate one. It is recommended that the following items from the January 16th regular bid opening referred to by call order be rejected in lieu of the Tide project. 165, 166, 280, and 281. It is recommended that the following item from the January 16th regular bid opening referred to by call order be deferred. Call order 260. This concludes the recommendations and your approval is requested.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 24?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Shannon. Do I have a second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes, Mr. Goka. Thank you. Item 25 is the Director's Report. Director Gatz, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, we very much appreciate your consideration this morning of the owner's representative contract on US 70 with the Lake Texoma Roosevelt Bridge. Again, that is a project that has so many unique aspects to it and is very well suited to use alternative delivery. However, the department is unfamiliar with those types of delivery mechanisms. We are working hard with Federal Highway Administration and our other partners to make sure we've got a handle on how that system works. I think there's enormous time savings and innovation to be had by using that alternative delivery methodology. And again, most importantly, bring resources to bear that have experience with doing that. And certainly HNTB is one of those firms. And we look forward to continuing to get this project ready. We're targeting a late 26, early 27 contract to have this project out the door. And again, we feel like it is very well suited to alternative delivery. February letting was contingent right up until Friday. And we did receive finally the deposit of federal funding from the continuing resolution that enabled us to recommend award of the contracts you awarded this morning. Lots of different activity going on. That really had nothing to do with the president's executive orders. That has really not been problematic for us. Our contracts that are regular formula funds and previously authorized grant funds are proceeding. Reimbursements are on schedule and on track. When you look to the future, the effect of the executive orders, USDOT is evaluating all of the grant programs. The department is fortunately been the recipient of a lot of federal grants that'll come to bear on projects, Roosevelt Bridge being one of those. However, we're pretty confident that our priorities align with the national infrastructure goals, and we'll see how it plays out, but we're confident that we will continue to have access to those revenues. The other aspect that's going on right now that had an effect on our tentative letting lists is with the January awards, we are very limited on federal funding. The continuing resolution that is in effect through March 14th has only brought us about 45% of our total appropriation for this fiscal year at the federal level. So we're going to be a little bit challenged until we get the next appropriation authorization. We don't know whether that'll come in the form of a continuing resolution or whether that'll be a full year's appropriations bill. I'd like to be optimistic that it'll be a full year's bill that'll allow us the latitude to deliver everything on schedule. But again, that's got nothing to do with the executive orders. I want to be really clear on that. It's just simply the appropriations process. So we'll work through, continue to keep the commission posted about what the prognosis is for our federal program. And, you know, again, we expect that that'll be taken up as part of the full year's appropriation. Sean Duffy has been confirmed as our new USDOT Secretary. He was sworn in on January the 28th as the 20th Secretary of USDOT. Duffy served as Congressman from Wisconsin's 7th District in the U.S. Congress for 10 years, serving as the House Financial Services Committee member and actively leading on local transportation issues via his co-chairmanship of the Great Lakes Task Force. Prior to serving in Congress, Duffy was a district attorney of Ashland County in Wisconsin for 10 years. We are looking forward to working with Secretary Duffy in his new role, and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to make his acquaintance in the not-too-distant future. We're very excited to have him in the role. As of yet, we're not aware of who's going to lead Federal Highway Administration, but we expect those nominations will be forthcoming also. Major project update, Interstate 40 bridge over I-44 rehabilitation. That's been in the media a little bit over the weekend, thankfully, because it's about to get started. We've had contractor mobilize on that project. For the most part, it'll be night work. It won't be tremendously disruptive to the daytime traffic. But again, given the volumes that Interstate 40 and Interstate 44 carry all times of the day and night, it'll be disruptive. So the traveling public needs to be aware that there will be some activities going there. And we're going to see some lane narrowings primarily between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. We tentatively hope to have this project completed by fall. So be a quick, fast-moving project. The rehabilitation of these bridges puts them in a condition and buys us some time to begin to work on the reconfiguration of that interchange. And by rehabbing these bridges, it lets us work that from the outside coming in. The outside of the interchange is where we have a lot of the traffic problems that we experience through the interchange. I'll give you an example. Traffic coming in from Western Avenue that often wants to go south on Interstate 44 has to cross about 4 lanes of traffic to hit the ramp. Eventually, in the full configuration, that'll be a flyover movement, and it'll take that traffic out of that main line and make for a lot more efficient. But that's just an example of what we're trying to do is, again, rehab the bridges in the middle, work the interchange from the outside coming in what'll be multiple phases, and make a big difference there ultimately with the new configuration. US 281 and Route 66 Tower Bridge, again, that's up around the Hinton area. The 281 bridge was one that received an award this morning. Here's the Tower Bridge. That was a major replacement project and pretty exciting. It's located directly south of the US 281 Route 66 Bridgeport Bridge, and about a $3 million bridge replacement awarded in July. Contractor, because this was a full closure of 66 281, was heavily incentivized, and the contractor earned just over 30 days of incentive, despite having some pretty tough weather conditions to work in. A project we're very proud of, and it is another iconic Route 66 project completed ahead of the centennial celebrations that are coming. For the first time that I can remember, US 281 doesn't have a load posted bridge through this section, so we're very excited about that and really appreciate the work of our both engineering teams and our contracting partners. Want to just talk for a second about the damage that we experienced on the I-44 21st Street Bridge in Tulsa. And I'm going to look just for a second at Justin because I believe this is the second time that bridge has been damaged by a fire. $330,000 commitment of taxpayer resources to a bridge that prior to that fire had nothing wrong with it. Again, when we experience problems like this, the thing I want to emphasize is the Department of Transportation, we're not an enforcement entity. And I know the challenge that homelessness is presenting for our communities. But the thing we've got to keep in the front of our minds is this is not only a cost to the taxpayers of the state, it's a safety concern. Because again, you saw that the type of damage that a fire like this can do to a bridge structure. The department is willing to work with any community and any entity to try to make a difference on problems like this, because they are problems, and they're problems that all of us have to share in to come up with good solutions. Some of it is going to be just to flat protect the infrastructure, to try to keep activities like that from developing underneath a bridge, because that's not just dangerous for the infrastructure. Think about the people that are being impacted by that. So there's got to be a better way. We're going to continue our efforts to work with the communities and certainly the local governments to try to help in any way that we can, because this is presenting extremely dangerous situations out there. So, some major projects that we've got coming up. State Highway 33 widening in Logan and Payne counties. That project is going on again. Really, the connection between Guthrie and the corridor between Guthrie and Perkins. And We've got a project that's going to add complete 2 additional lanes. We've been working on that corridor now for many years. And these 2 projects will combine and complete the widening of the corridor, and that's going to provide that second 4-lane alternative route to Perkins, and also as a kind of a backdoor into Stillwater. Projects are going to improve safety, visibility, and sight distance in a corridor that historically and even recently has experienced some really horrific crashes. So it'll be good to get that traffic separated. Certainly the volumes that are being experienced there are one of the safety concerns we've got. So very much appreciate the consideration and the award of that project this morning. I want to call everybody's attention to some resurfacing that's going to happen on Interstate 35 in Murray and Garvin counties. That's a $16 million project that's going to go on, and the work will have some lane closures primarily performed at night. We expect it to begin in late spring and take about 4 months to complete. But anytime you have work going on Interstate 35 South, it will be disruptive to traffic again, no matter what time the activities are going on. So we want the traveling public to be aware of that. Also, US 69 resurfacing and rehab project in Wagner County, about a $30 million rehab to resurface more than 5.5 miles of US 69 between Muskogee and Wagner. This is a section of pavement that's been problematic for us for a long time. We're very glad to get some resources committed to it. And that'll also include rehab work on both bridges over the McClellan-Kerr Arkansas River navigation system. Work should begin in April or May, last about a year. There will be some 1-lane traffic and one-way head-to-head during the construction. So again, I want to remind the traveling public to be careful and be safe. As part of our safety campaign, we've got debuting a new seatbelt PSA. It's the little things on social channels, February 10th. I think we've got a video queued up that we want to show this morning. So.
Sometimes it's the unseen things we do that matter most.
No, I'm all right.
Because sometimes it's the little things we do that bring us back home
Good thing I was wearing my seatbelt.
to those we love.
I'll be home soon.
Very much appreciate Anthony Dels and him lending his expertise.
He's now a Hollywood star.
Yep. So, but again, that very powerful PSA. We have to continue to call attention to the fact that we lose too many of our citizens to accidents and crashes out there, and a lot of times it's because they're not buckled up. So we want to continue our efforts to give them as safe a highway system as we can, but at the same time we need their help, and part of that is just buckling up. Put away distractions, observe the posted speed limit both on the highway system and especially in construction work zones. I saw an effort that AOGC and Bobby Sim are putting together that's titled the Cone Zone. Bobby, thank you so much for calling attention to our workplace because, again, another very powerful video clip. He's engaged the congressional delegation to be a part of that. And that's what it takes to make a difference, is just to put it in front of everybody. So, Bobby, thank you for your efforts around that. And just buckle your seatbelts, folks. Mr. Chairman, very much appreciate the commission's support for everything that we do, and I would stand for any questions that you might have of me.
Questions or comments for the director?
Under the bridges with the homeless community, do we have any other type of damages besides fires? I mean, have we experienced anything else besides that?
Certainly, everything from cleanup to other minor damages that we're dealing with all the time. Nothing necessarily to the scale of what you saw there. But again, this is the second round of repairs we've had to do to that particular structure because of this very issue. You hear some discussion about hostile architecture, where we go in and try to harden around those bridges to make it more difficult. Because guys, quite frankly, a bridge is no place to try to occupy, no matter who you are, what your conditions are. So we've got to find other resources to help us take care of that. But again, we've got to do what we've got to do to protect the infrastructure, because that's our realm of responsibility. So again, we deal with cleanup on a regular basis, and that's a challenge in itself. We're always trying to partner with the communities to minimize the occupancy under those bridges within the rights of way as much as we possibly can, but it is very challenging to do. You saw what can result, though, so that's why we've got to be diligent.
Yeah, I was wondering if they did any concrete damage too, or, just from messing around and,
Again, minor repairs, we encounter things that happen under the bridges a lot of times that, is of concern, but not at the level that the damage like you saw there was. And anytime we have a problem like that, that's going to ultimately show up here at the commission for your approval of a contract to fix it, so.
thank you very much.
If commissioners have no other comments, I'd hear a motion for item 26. Thank you. Which is adjournment.
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Colbert.
Please cast your vote. Motion passes. We are adjourned.